Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Live from the Works and to Streaming Wednesdays. How are we all doing? We've got the DTS workshops in the chat room. Hello, the Tired Scott is here. Hello to you, and Moo the dog is here as well. Hi to all of you. There's a couple of people lurking I can see, so do feel free to come say hello. Because I always say the format doesn't work without your input. How are we all doing? It's been a bit of a weird couple of weeks. Sorry I didn't do a show last week. As you saw at the top of the show, this episode is dedicated to my friend Dick Paris, who very sadly passed away last week, and it was pretty devastating, to be honest. Dick I met while doing Biggest Little Railway in the World. We met at the audition for Biggest Little Railway in the World, funnily enough. Easter weekend 2017, we went down to London to audition for the people at Love Productions. And I met Dick there, and we hit it off. And then we both got onto the project and did the show together. Had some amazing adventures doing Biggest Little Railway with Dick. Stayed in touch afterwards. I would say Dick was probably one of my closest friends. And yeah, so I'm genuinely devastated about that. It's, yeah, pretty bloody awful. But yeah, so I'd like to dedicate tonight's show to him. And in that spirit, I've got a little bit of blurb I've written here that I'd like to read out as well. Tonight's stream will also be supporting the Cystic Fibrosis Trust in memory of Dick. In lieu of flowers, Dick's family has asked for donations to be made to the Cystic Fibrosis Trust, which is a charity uniting people to stop cystic fibrosis. I've taken some blurb from their website. They say, our community will improve care, speak out, support each other and fund vital research as we race towards effective treatments for all. We won't stop until everyone can live without the limits of cystic fibrosis. So if you can afford to do so, please consider sending a small donation. There is a link to the Cystic Fibrosis Trust in the chat room. I'll pop it in there again. For those of you who can afford to do so, you can donate. If it's easier for you, if you want to send a donation in the chat, I'll be donating anything anyone says tonight to the Cystic Fibrosis Trust as well. In the spirit of that, tonight's stream has no adverts, so I won't be making any money from tonight. If you would prefer to do a donation through YouTube and stick it through the chat, 100% of your donation will go to cystic fibrosis. I know YouTube takes their cut. I will be making up the difference, and I'll be giving a donation in memory as well. So yeah, if you can afford to, pop a donation over to the Cystic Fibrosis Trust. It was a charity that was very close to Dick's heart, so yeah, that's my piece. So yeah, please do that if you can afford to do so. Anyway, it's a bit warm in here. I've put a jumper on, and I didn't intend to be quite this warm. It was freezing down here earlier. Anyway, on to happier matters. Tonight, we're going to be watching this. I've gone on about this film a lot this year because of the lovely Rapido models and the film's 70th anniversary. That's it. It's come up a lot on these streams, so I thought it would be nice to watch it. And I've chosen this week to do it for one very simple reason, and that is because for a long time on Christmas Eve, you know what it's like Christmas Eve. You're excited about the next day. You're full on hyperactive. You can't sleep. So what I used to do when I went to bed and I couldn't sleep was put the Titfield Thunderbolt on. That was my Christmas Eve viewing, and that would make me feel very happy and content. And after that, I would drift off to sleep. It's the perfect feel-good film, in my opinion. So yeah, that's what I've chosen to do this evening. It's a brilliant film. Now, little disclaimer, we did this with the Biggest Little Railway watch-along, so I'll do this again. The Titfield Thunderbolt will not be shown on the stream because I'm afraid of the copyright gremlins. Instead, you will have to get a separate device and put the Titfield Thunderbolt on in the background. So if you haven't done so already, it is currently available to watch for free on BBC iPlayer. It's also available to buy in various places. I think Amazon Video and Apple TV. You can buy it on there and stream it like that. Or even better, if you've got the DVD, pop the DVD on. So for those of you watching later, the mighty space people of the future, greetings to you. I hope climate change has dealt with itself. And yeah, you can go pause the video, go buy it, and then we'll start in a few minutes anyway. But for those of you watching it live, it is available to watch for free on iPlayer. The link's in the chat room. Get that up on a separate device, or if you're watching on the computer and on a window in the background. This stream is basically going to be like a DVD commentary, but from somebody who was not involved in the making of the film. And all of my facts and information will be coming from this book that came with the Titfield Thunderbolt sets. So, yeah. I'll be chiming in with some comments while we watch, and it's going to be fun. We're going to enjoy it. Anyway, for those of you who haven't before, I'm sure most of you have, but let's have a little look at the models. These railway models all came out this year. The bus is slightly older. That's the Pearson Crump bus, so you can see it's got their company name on the back there. It's a nice little model, that. I've had that for ages. You've got Thunderbolt, of course, with the figures of the Reverend Weech and Bishop Ollie Matthews. Dan's house coach, brake van, another brake van. This is the Rapido one on the back of the buffet coach, with the Beach and Upwell tramway coach. And, of course, 1401, which is the star of the film for me. Yeah, anyway. I went to see Lion in Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. I was in Chester for a friend's wedding, and while I was there I went to the Museum of Liverpool and saw Lion, and yeah, it was rather fab. She's looking very dusty and unloved though. It's like, get a duster out, guys, come on. Celestial Toymaker in there with a £5 donation, thank you very much, that is great. Starting the ball rolling, thank you so much, that is awesome, thank you. I will do a little party emoji there for you. There we go. Thank you so much for that. That's amazing. Yeah, as I say, if you want to make a donation to the Cystic Fibrosis Trust and you'd rather do it sort of in the chat, there's a little dollar sign icon thing. If you click that, it highlights and it says show your support for Mataf Productions, and you can do a super chat or a super sticker, and everything I make tonight will go to the Cystic Fibrosis Trust. So thank you very much in advance. If you prefer, the links for them directly as well. So yeah, whatever your preference. And if you'd rather not, that's fine too. Anyway, right, so you should have all had a few minutes to get the film rolling now. If you haven't, I've seen Lion in real life as well, says the DTS Workshop. She's fab, isn't she? I didn't realise it. The buffers, if we cut back to the close-up camera, the buffers on Lion, these things here, for those not in the know, they're made of leather. I didn't realise. I just assumed they'd be metal, but no, they're leather. You touch them, they're soft. It's weird. It's the weirdest thing, but I kind of love it. Anyway, yeah, no, I loved my visit to go see Lion. Lion is a fab loco. Yeah, criminally underused though. She's kind of tucked in a corner in the Museum of Liverpool. Really, she should be the first thing you see as you walk into the entrance hall. They've got a big open space at the front. And in my humble opinion, Lion should be like the thing that greets you. Like, this is our history. It's a big deal. But no, sadly not. Anyway. Right. How are we doing in the chat room? Have we got the film ready to go? Because if we have, we'll get started. Let me just pop Plex open on the tablet. Oh, here we go. There we are. There, right, yeah. I've got it loaded up and ready to go. Just waiting on you guys, really. So, yeah, ping me a message in the chat room if you're all set. If you need a bit longer, let me know as well. Tonight's tea is a tea pig called Calm. It's got a little bunny on it. Hang on, see if I can get that up to the camera. There we go. Can you see the little... It just doesn't want to focus. It's not behaving. There is a little bunny on there. If I zoom it out, there you go. There's a bunny on the tea bag and a bunny on the cup. So, yeah, bunny central this evening. The Tide Scott says ready. Anyone else need a minute or two? I'll give you all about 30 seconds and then we'll get started. I will be reading some facts from the book as we go, and offering insightful comedic commentary as well. So yeah, exciting times. Right. Nobody else has said they're not ready, so on that basis we will get started. Okay, let's open up Plex, and if we are all ready, we will begin in, stalling for time while I rewind the video, here we go. We will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. There we are. Turn that down a smidge so I can still hear what I'm doing as well. Studio Canal. I assume you've all got this at the top as well. Here we go. Here we are, the old Ealing Studios logo with the topless gentleman with the gong. The J. Arthur Rank organisation presents. Ooh, dramatic. Here we go, and we're straight into the title sequence, and this lovely drawing of like an old school demonstration railway. Beautiful. A Michael Balcon production, starring Stanley Holloway, George Ralph, Norton Wayne, and John Gregson in the Titfield Thunderbolt. Let's see if I've got any facts here for you before we kick off. Let's go to the released section. Hang on, where is it? Here we are. Film premiered at London's Leicester Square Theatre on March the 5th, 1953 as part of the British Film Academy's award ceremony. It was released to the public the following day, and nearly 2 years had elapsed since T.B. Clark had spotted that fateful poster in North Wales, and the film was well received by the public. We'll get to the North Wales connection in a minute. Critics were more sceptical. The British Film Institute's monthly film bulletin for 1953, April, said the script was disconcertingly short and wit, and some of its invention seems forced. Boo! Here's that lovely opening shot of Midford Viaduct there. I can never read the number on that loco. And there's 1401. Lovely. Now, the village shots are not actually Limpley Camerton on the Limpley Stoke branch, which is where Titfield Station is. That is... hold on a second. Locations, here we are. No, sorry, Monkton Combe was the location for Titfield. The scene on the top of the hill there is shot in Freshford, about 2 miles away. That jumping off the train while it's in motion as an adult freaks me out. Like, no! Don't do it! Here we go. Here's the Squire. And we're about to be introduced to Sid James's character. This is Harry with his steamroller. I'm like, he's got no options. He's got nowhere to go, but he doesn't have to enjoy it so much. That's a beautiful joke. There's some lovely jokes in this. The loco crew and the guard, by the way, not actors. They're British Railways staff. There we go, across the field. I'm about to be introduced to Dan, played by... Hang on, stalling for time. Hugh Griffith. He was also in the 1968 production of Oliver. And Ben-Hur in 1959. Character there, of course, Mr. Blakeworth, played by... Is he in here? Hang on. I've lost Mr. Blakeworth. I thought there was a bit dedicated to him, but I can't find him. Ah, here we are. Norton Wayne. Also seen in The Lady Vanishes. I love that line. And away they go. And some signage that just 10 years after this film release will become very familiar to branch lines up and down the country. Because, of course, the Beeching report was not far away. 1963, 10 years away now. And here we are, we're about to meet Pierce and Crump. Pierce played by Ewan Roberts, Alec Pierce is the name of the character. And Vernon Crump played by Jack McGowran. There we go. As a child, these guys were just sort of cartoonishly panto villains. As an adult, I kind of sympathise with them. Up to a point, because they've obviously sunk a lot of money into this enterprise of providing a bus service to replace the railway. And half the villagers have gone, no, you're alright, we want our railway, thanks. So I can empathise with them, even though their motivations are not good, and the way they go about it is just terrible. Yeah, they are not good people. But I can empathise with the frustration. And here is the hero of the film, I suppose. This is the Reverend Weech, played by George Ralph. Also seen in The Life and Adventures of Nicholas Nickleby in 1947. And also in Ben-Hur. Emily, the housekeeper, played by Edie Martin. There's not much information about Edie. It's a dreadfully sad moment, this. There's also some beautiful foreshadowing in this film, because you can just see that painting of Thunderbolt on the wall in the background, and then there's the smaller photo there. In fact, there you go, in the background there, you can see hanging on the wall. That line tickles me as well. No men of sufficient faith in Canterbury. I love that Mr. Blakeworth gives them the idea and then just is totally against it. It's like, you started this, mate. There's a lot of drinking in this film as well. There's a model in the background there, which I believe... Is there something about that in here? I don't think so. No, not in this booklet. It's preserved in a museum, I think in Bristol. Because it is a fully mechanical model, so... Yeah, the stumbling block to all good ideas, the funds. This feels like an opportune moment to be talking about the inspiration behind the film, so we'll have a brief reading from the book. The seed of the Titfield Thunderbolt took root in the very early days of railway preservation through a seemingly innocent invitation. Richard Hughes, who was the author of A High Wind in Jamaica, had spent most of the post-war period writing film scripts for Ealing Studios. He invited his colleague from Ealing Studios, screenwriter Tibby Clark, to visit his North Wales home in the summer of 1951. Hughes thought a trip to see a narrow gauge railway run by volunteers would amuse Clark, and so Tibby found himself at the Tallaghtlin Railway, looking at a rather strange notice. Tibby Clark is credited with writing the first of what became known as the Ealing Comedies, but he was no railway enthusiast. Much like Mr. Blakeworth, I fear. Now being introduced to Mr. Valentine, played by... here we are. Stanley Holloway, also seen in Brief Encounter, released in 1945. Sid James appearing there again. Joan, the bar lady there, played by Gabrielle Brune. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Also seen in Tomorrow We Live from 1943, The Handlebar, and He Found a Star. Right, back to the reading. Tibby later wrote, I had no ambition in early life to drive an engine. It never even occurred to me to spot one. My father was allowed to play with my most expensive Christmas present, a train set, unhampered by me. I regarded trains as smelly things liable to make one sick, their only virtue being the power they had to squash a halfpenny placed on the line into the size of a penny. But a notice with the words volunteer plate layers required immediately grabbed Tibby's attention. My curiosity had to be satisfied, Clark recalled. My inquiries brought the information that this was a private line run through the summer months by enthusiasts from all parts of the country, who spent their holidays as engine drivers, firemen, guards or booking clerks. Thus, the Titfield Thunderbolt was born. I'm just going to briefly move away from my reading to talk about how much I love this argument scene. My mum reliably informs me that I used that phrase a lot as a child. And they're now harassing Mr. Valentine for financial support. I love that talking round he talks about how this was a financial loss maker. There's a very good joke earlier that I missed because I was reading where he says, you must think me a very cold and unfeeling man. Not at all, but I insist. This is now the gem of the idea, which is rather marvellous. This, by the way, is still true. The buffet car at the Nene Valley Railway is technically not allowed to sell alcohol while the train is stationary. But they can do whatever they like while it's moving. And there we go, Pearson Crump hearing about the gem of the idea and looking suitably horrified. Yeah. Now this scene at the Ministry of Transport was filmed in Berkeley Square in London. History does not recall whether or not a nightingale was singing at the time the filming took place. Anyway, back to Clark's writing. The Titfield Thunderbolt was born. The idea of a village with sufficient love of its little branch line railway to buy it and run it with an amateur staff when it came to suffer the fate so many pleasant but uneconomic little lines in those materialistic times. Tibby started work on the new script, provisionally called Private Line, when he'd returned home. He wrote to the Talyllyn general manager Tom Rolt on September the 18th, 1951, to arrange a short interview about his experiences. Several of these experiences, such as passengers helping to push carriages and filling the engine's water tank with buckets of water from local stream water, would make it into the script. Tibby later said, 2 days of fact-finding with the enthusiasts of the Talyllyn line, and I succumbed to the mania as completely as any clergyman in the land. He immediately jumped on the fact that the railway attracted a strong following from clergymen personified by the likes of Eric Treacy, Wilbur Awdry and Teddy Boston. He said, almost my first discovery was the extraordinarily large number of parsons, who were held in thrall by fascination of railways. It presented me at once with my leading character, the Reverend Samuel Reach. It also says here that Tom Rolt, by coincidence, was friendly with the actor Hugh Griffith. And he was the railway's vice president from 1951. Goodness, I didn't know that. Here we are, they're off for the town hall meeting. Here we are at Titfield Station, which, as I said, is the Monkton Combe station on the Camerton branch. This was opened under the company name of the Bristol and North Somerset Railway on the 3rd of September 1873 and was connected by a series of junctions with Bristol, Temple Meads and Radstock, where it made an end-on connection to the GWR's Frome branch. They had ambitions to tap into the coal deposits around Camerton, and a new branch that struck out eastwards from a junction near Hallertrow opened on March the 1st, 1882. The line was later extended eastwards to reach the collieries at Dunkerton in 1908. Dunkerton will come up shortly. And was extended again to a junction on the GWR's Bath, Trowbridge, Westbury main line at Limpley Stoke. Attempts to run a passenger service on the line ended in failure. Passenger trains over the whole branch ceased on September 21st, 1925. The track on this section between Hallertrow and Camerton was removed in the early 1930s. And goods services between Limpley Stoke Camerton via Monkton Combe ended on February the 15th, 1951. Track was lifted in 1958. This race scene is brilliant. Genuinely funny. Look at the driving against the blue screen. It's brilliant. Just the energy of this film is wonderful. Hello, Giratina Universe. Nice to see you. And again, some foreshadowing with Thunderbolt in the background there. Or in the foreground, really, in this bit. Presumably Aslif didn't want their name involved. This scene is beautiful. Just the expression on Mr. Coggett's face is because he doesn't know what to do with this information. He was like, what? He's so confused. I love it. Mr. Valentine there. Alcoholism is a powerful drug. Dearie me. I believe Thunderbolt scene in the background there is actually a mock-up. It just doesn't look quite right. Mr. Chesterford now doing a very impassioned speech. And he's absolutely right. This is exactly what happened to many villages when they lost their railways. Bloody Ernest Marples. I do wonder how many in the preservation movement saw this film as children and went, we could do that, when the Beeching report happened. I do enjoy the fact that it's all stuffy, you know, stuck up people on the left-hand side supporting the bus company. And they've got their lifeline, and we now move on to, I think, this. I would say the second act begins from here. That's Act 1, this is Act 2. Monkton Combe Station having a good old tidy up there. Yeah, when the film company was offered the branch line by British Railways, this was covered in weeds. They spent weeks actually tidying it up before the cameras moved in. There's a little bit of blurb about that in this book. Hang on. Look at the love going into that locomotive. I love it. That vehicle is bizarre. Nighttime scenes from the 1950s are just amazing, because this is very obviously daylight and then they've adjusted the contrast to make it look like nighttime. It just looks ever so slightly off. I mean, look at the... No way you'd get a shadow like that from moonlight. It's the first day. The camera keeps auto-focusing. I'm going to adjust that. I think that clock says 7:45. For a 9 o'clock start, they are cutting it very fine. Did I just turn on the low lighting mode by mistake? I think I might have done. Fool. That's not what I wanted. There we are. Oh. There we go. That's what we want. Right. As we were, team. Let's talk a little bit about the locomotives. The loco is a 14XX 1400 class classic branch line locomotive. Line similar to that to Titfield, but exactly what GWR Chief Mechanical Engineer Charles Collett had in mind when he and his team at the Swindon embarked on designing a new branch locomotive. It's a very Victorian era locomotive, but it looks really nice in BR black. There were 74 built. They were originally classified the 4800 class, but when GWR reused the numbers in the 48XX series for post-war oil firing experiments, it renumbered the whole class 1400 through 1474 in 1946. Despite their antiquated look, the final survivors were not withdrawn until 1965. There were 2 locos used for the film. There was 1401, which is the starring role, and there was also 1456 with its own 1401 plate fitted. This meant they could double the filming because they had 2 locos facing each direction. Or 1 loco facing in each direction, rather. There is also another 1400 class loco in the film, which we'll get to later, but this is number 1462, and it's the scene where... Okay, I won't spoil it for those of you who haven't seen this before. I love the painted backdrop there, because presumably this is a mock-up from the film in the studios. Just round the back there, that is where the railway kind of curves round to join the main line at the back. Hedging his bets here. I love him just fiddling with random controls there. It's opening the drain cock, so he is doing that correctly. I really enjoy just how mildly disinterested Dan is throughout this whole film. Here we go. Here we go. That is now someone's driveway. If you go look on Google Maps at Mompton Combe, Titfield Station is listed, and that is someone's drive now. The opposite bit, where the station would have been, is now a garage and a tennis court. No accounting for taste. And there we are, the coach fitted out with the bar inside. The coach, by the way, is a Wisbech and Upwell tramway coach. I will find the number. Hang on. Number 8. After the filming, it was earmarked for preservation by the British Transport Commission and restored to its Great Eastern Railway livery, which was a lovely maroon colour. It was scrapped due to a misunderstanding in 1957. Yeah. Don't get it. Oh, I love the kind of sort of backdrop shots of the train winding its way through the countryside. It's so lovely. Goats! Cows! You can see from all of these shots just how overgrown and sort of unkempt the railway is by this time. It's been closed to traffic for a considerable period of time by now. So it's really looking very unloved and unkempt. This water tower, by the way, not mocked up for the film. For whatever reason, it is just on its own in the middle of the branch line. That actually exists. There's a video footage from... I'm not sure where from. It can't be long before the film, to be fair. But there's footage of a light loco movement going past it, and the water tower is actually there. I do wonder if perhaps it's something to do with the fact there's a stream running down at the bottom of the field there. Maybe that's where the water tower topped up from. I don't know. Yet again, Dad's just general air of disinterest. He's just going to walk back. Hugh Griffiths is a legend. Now, this next series of scenes is filmed at Dunkerton Colliery, which there is some information on in the book. Well, I thought that was, at any rate. Where is it? Okay, there's not. Anyway, this is Dunkerton Colliery, where they filmed this bit. If you look there, you can just see what would have been a set of points, obviously for another siding. Brilliant. It's their first train out of the station, and they've already got an RAIB reportable incident. Oh, the yellow forms. Here comes Sid James with his steamroller. The steamroller survives. It is currently, I think it says in the book what happened to it. It's preserved at a museum, I think, in Dover, but it does survive. It's not in working order anymore, but it is very old, so. It is an Aveling and Porter R10 steamroller. Built in Staplehurst. They built more steamrollers than all other British manufacturers combined. Oliver versus George, yes. Some goats running around in the background there. I enjoy that Mr. Valentine is just having a wonderful time. Continuity in this film appears to be a suggestion rather than a rule you adhere to. There's lots of shots that don't belong where they are. But I think that's part of the charm. Oh. Clang. I think what I love most of all is the fact that the passengers just, this is fine. No issues with this. They come back! Oh. I, by the way, am watching the 4K restored version, and it just does pick out the little details beautifully. And off she goes. Oh dear. Imagine trying to explain that to your insurance company. Mallingford Station here, otherwise known as Bristol Temple Meads. And this was the fish dock, which had the appearance of an ordinary platform, and that's why it was used, because it was out of use. There are two other locos in the background in Mallingford. A castle, number 5036 Lions Hall Castle, and star number 4056 Princess Margaret. They're just in every shot in Mallingford in the background. I assume that was by arrangement, so it looked like there was something going on in the background. But, yeah. Those were the two locos. Again, neither of them survive, sadly. I really want to know if this is an actual film or not, or whether this was mocked up for the purposes of this film. And then that transition is just beautiful. It's a subtle joke, but I like it. It's a subtle gag, that, but I like it. Here we are. Sid James about to make an appearance with his shotgun. Climbing through the fence there. That's an offence. It's offence and an offence. Here we go. This makes me laugh too. Just Dan carrying a shotgun around on the footplate. Why not? Why wouldn't you? £10 from Helen Velvet Sky in memory of lovely Dick. Thank you, Helen. It's £15 we've raised for the Cystic Fibrosis Trust so far. Thank you, guys. Poor pheasant. Mr. Blakeworth comes back! This is what I don't understand. He keeps coming back. And here we go, there's the water tower. There we go. There we go. Just like, she'll blow up. Oh, Hugh Griffiths is a national treasure, quite frankly. There's this belting down to the stream there. There is a happy ending to Mr. Clark's lack of enthusiasm for railways. In an interview after the film's release, Clark says, "When I finished my work on the Titfield Thunderbolt last summer, and now I have added to my record the supreme satisfaction of driving Thunderbolt herself, I think I can safely say that the crisis is past, and hello, that you, Clark? Not too busy, I hope? Wines and spirits first." Not... well, I'm just writing something I've got to finish in time for... Because I'm at Paddington, and do you know what I think I've just seen? The new gas turbine 18100... Gas turbine 18100. Oh, I say, wait for me, I'll be with you in 20 minutes. He became an enthusiast, and I think that's lovely. This farm building, I think, is still there. I was having a little look on Google Maps the other day around where they filmed it, and I swear the building for this farmhouse still exists. This is a studio set, I think, where they've just grabbed the bathtub. Poor baby. This is such a lovely scene, just everyone mucking in to make this work. Oh. This is the preservation movement in a nutshell. When things go wrong, you all muck in to make it work. I love how Hugh is standing effectively on a tame bomb that could go bang at any moment, and he's enjoying himself. Oh, there's just so many beautiful visual gags. And he's just tipped most of the contents of that bath on the floor. There we go. Mr. Blakeworth. I mean, he's got a point. You don't expect Avanti don't expect you to muck in when one of their trains breaks down. Although maybe if we all did, it would resolve the problem faster. Again, just that little gag with the tap. It's beautiful. Oh. Oh dear. I don't agree with the critics. I think this film is actually very, very funny. It's the most enthused he's been for the whole film. Everyone just tossing away that poor farmhouse's buckets and pots and just that little extra bit of the... Oh, actually, just... Saving the important bits there. Wines and spirits first, everyone. And away they go. Just leaving a scene of devastation on the track. Oh dear. I'm pretty sure that pan is going to be a derailment hazard when they come back. There you go. You can see in the background there's the two locos. I think that's the Hall class you can see there. Just check my notes. As a member of the preservation movement, I have sat in meetings just like this one. It's also the only time we see the Reverend in a cassock. We are running at a profit. This is dreadful! Oh. Hang on, it was on the bit about Bristol Temple Meads. No, sorry, my apologies. That was actually the castle in the background. There we go again. Good lord. It's the people that have come out with bicycles. It's one coach. Where do you want to put them? Oh, here we go. Cramming in. I love how put out he looks. A merger. Mercenary. Mercenary. He's obsessed with libel law, this man. Foreshadowing. Oh, such a weaselly little man. Mr. Blakeworth there is entirely subsidising the bus company now. Boo! Boo to you, sir! Boo! Those pyjamas, good lord. They are hideous. He doesn't ring the police out of embarrassment. Bless his heart. So instead I'm going to go down and get involved in the crime. Oh. I do rather enjoy that implication. There we go, there's the steamroller just chilling in the yard there. People who particularly like the 1400 class may wish to look away for this next scene. Oh, this bit always breaks my heart. There we go, Sid James getting a white light there. I enjoy that they uncouple the brake van for some reason. I mean, it's quite important for the continuity of the film later on, but still. Oh dear. It's just switched lines as well. Yeah, there are continuity issues with this film, and many of them, unfortunately. But we can forgive it. If you're ever in this situation, make a note of where the handbrake is. Now, this bit is a model. You may wish to shut your eyes now. Oh dear. Oh, bye-bye 1401. Bye-bye coach. Don't look. Don't look. It's not good for you guys. And a wheel just rolling away into the river there. Oh dear. So, that's not a real train, obviously. The model was made by Bassett Loke. Large-scale models were made to film the crash itself, and they made a mock-up of wreckage, which is what you just saw there as well. No real locomotives were harmed in the making of this film. Well, apart from Lion, but we'll get to that. There we are, Mr. Blakeworth being arrested by virtue of being at the scene of the crime. I believe that is what they call bang to rights. But I believe you would have a hard time explaining that. Oh, that lovely coach. Oh, man. This scene really is heartbreaking. Oh, dear. Here comes everyone running. Oh, man. This scene breaks my heart. It really does. Ah. Oh, just the spinning wheel. It's just. Oh no. 3 months. That's ambitious. Ain't that true? Oh. Oh, love them. They all look so distraught. Oh. Such a horrible thing to do as well. Yeah. This is where Pierce and Crump lose my sympathy, I'm afraid. It's a dreadful thing to do. It's horrible. There goes Mr. Valentine. Lulled by drunken singing. This is not a real coach, by the way, that Dan lives in. This is a mock-up that was made specifically for the film. It's based on a proper old school, like, four-wheel thing. But it's not a contemporary of any particular design. It is very much a freelance design made by the studio. Just the sad plodding away. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, I love how clueless Mr. Valentine is. Never Indian. Oh. Some more iconic bits and bobs coming up. I do enjoy that they just seem to be able to pull railway vehicles out of nowhere. So there's a hand cart, there's the little pump thing that the vicar rides on earlier. Oh. I know I'm picking holes in it, but I love this film so much. I feel like I'm allowed to pick holes. I just have a great deal of affection. There we are. There's the Reverend with the painting, and it's all over. That's the end. It all ends dreadfully. Oh. Oh well. Thanks for coming, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the film. I'm joking, of course. There she is, Thunderbolt. An idea. I find Reverend Weech's enthusiasm infectious. It's just so lovely. Keep him there. This cross-purposes talking goes on for all of some time. This is totally how police work works. Okay, we are now at, hang on a moment, Oxford Shed. It was Woodstock, to give it its proper name. Oh no, sorry, this is Woodstock Shed. Oxford Shed is down the road. Yeah, that bit just before was at Woodstock Sheds. This is now... Right, no, sorry, I'm caught up now. Woodstock, I believe, is the town that they drive through. Hang on, find the locations. Hang on, I'm getting myself in a muddle. Hold on. Here we are. Here we are. Yeah, Woodstock. Woodstock is the next bit. This is Oxford Shed. And this loco is number 1462. It was allocated to Southall and it was transferred to Oxford for a few weeks in November 1952. And then went back to London for no apparent reason. Yeah. Don't understand that. Anyway, this is Oxford Shed. And this is 14XX number 3 from the film. And we have now transitioned to the fake 1400 class, which obviously isn't the real deal. It is, in fact, a... let's see. It's a replica mounted on a Morris commercial lorry chassis. And then the driver was lying down inside with a little peephole in front of him. Tibby Clark told a journalist, Sir Michael Balkan said to me, you write what you want us to do and we'll find some way of doing it. So after that I wrote anything, even if it seemed impossible. Yeah, this is Woodstock. This is where they filmed it. It's just a few miles down the road from Oxford. Yeah, if you look very closely, you can see the wheels of the lorry underneath. But it's quite a good effect. It just looks a little bit too wide. It's the only issue. These scenes are Richmond Park, I believe. Through a fence. Shortcut. Oh. And that's the second loco they've blown up. Here we are, and here is Thunderbolt. This isn't actually Thunderbolt, of course. This is a mock-up. And this scene is filmed... Hold on. Here we are. Hold on. The Imperial Institute in South Kensington, now demolished. Lion is one of a pair of identical locomotives called Lion and Tiger, bought by the Liverpool and Manchester Railway from Todd Kitson and Laird in Leeds, which had set up a shop in a converted mill in Hunslet to the south of the city. They were first locomotives the firm ever built, and they cost £1,100 each. Just doing the maths in my head quickly, I think for that you could buy 3 of these. It was designated a luggage engine, but Lion was first used as a banking engine on the Whiston and Sutton inclines either side of Rainhill. It would normally be based at Manchester, whilst Tiger was shedded in Liverpool. So impressed were the engineers of the Liverpool and Manchester Railway with the engineering standards of the two locos, they became the benchmark standard for all following locomotives. Yeah, this poor police sergeant, he's having a rough night of it. He's like, what, they've crashed another one? Now, line was transported by road to Westbury before working over the main line under its own steam to its final destination for the Titfield Thunderbolt. On arrival, it was specially painted for its starring role in an especially bright livery, as this was the first Ealing comedy to be shot in colour. Allegedly, this new livery had not been agreed in advance, and by the time anyone found out, the locomotive had already been painted. Come on, behave. Yes, they did nick Dan's home without asking. Poor Dan. I mean, he wasn't using it at the time. Oh, I love these two just geeking out in this scene. It's so lovely. Everything about this film is glorious. Aww. Oh dear. Yeah, slight issue. Here is them not being lenient. Once again, no alcohol in prison. Indeed. Yeah. Boo, boo, boo. You'll never find out, sir. You will never find out. Oh dear. Flee! Oh. All he had to do was just exchange his insurance details and keep his mouth shut. That's all he had to do. Worst he'd be looking at is driving without due care and attention. I do enjoy very much the inspectors just deadpan the whole way through these next few scenes. Just no reaction. None whatsoever. Just like, okay, this is what's happening. Fine. We'll crack on. This is the inside of the house. They've done it up nicely. Oh, I love that. Here we go. Here we go. Ooh. Yeah, that's not ideal. Weak handbrake on the engine. Handbrake in the van, throwing the full weight of the train on the coupling. Foreshadowing. He is technically correct. The best kind of correct. Again, Mr. Valentine just having a wonderful time. Just go straight to the money, man. Why not? Oh. £15 was worth quite a lot of money back in the day. Could probably buy a beaten up Mark 1 for that. Have like a mansion. Off we go again then. Oh, bless you for trying, Mr. Blakeworth. Bless you for trying. Okay, full start. We're now underway. Here we go. That coupling gives me the willies. It really does. The towed brake vans used in this, there were two of them incidentally, were chosen for a number of reasons. One of which was you could get some lovely outside shots with the Squire, a couple of which are seen in the film, but also because they were big enough that you could sling a generator in there to power lights and things. So that was part of the reason. I've just realised I think my coach is the wrong way round. Oh well, never mind. It changes position throughout the film, I've noticed, but never mind. There she goes. Lovely. Massive lumps of coal there, jeez. Coupling's still working well, for now. Ah. Oh, he's going for the handbrake. You see what I mean? This film is genuinely funny. Oh, it's all gone wrong. Love 'em. Oh dear. Straight past the water tower. Hang on, let me just check the number. 68740. Yep, well done, Rapido. Oh, satisfactory indeed. Here comes Lion, just gently rolling. Oh dear. I'm told it is entirely possible to do this with a pinch bar. Get a loco. If you get a loco moving, and they want to move, so it's actually not too hard to actually get them moving. But yeah, let the brake off, pinch bar, downhill. So yeah. Yeah, you get enough bodies behind us at the train, you can move it because they want to move. Oh, check out Mr. Snippy here. Dear, oh dear. Oh, Joan. I enjoy the attempt to just sort of cover the window there. I think you can see Midford Station in the background there. That looks like a signal box. Oh dear. There we go. Here we go. This is Sid James's redemption arc. Indeed, the Tired Scot. It was the 1950s. Hello, Dalek-san. That was an alternate universe. Right, interesting fact about this scene. Right, watch for this. Here we go. Buffering up and... Allegedly, and I've looked at Lion, and I think this might be true, they split the buffer beam when they crashed that laureate wagon into the back of it. There is a very clear split through the whole buffer beam if you go and look at Lion in the museum. And allegedly that is from them crashing it into it. In fact, I might go back and look at that as a freeze frame later, because I think that you can see there's some damage there. There she goes. Yeah, very, very, very sort of downbeat moment. It's lovely montage of shots coming up of the loco, which is lovely. It's, again, massive lumps of coal. This montage for the last few scenes is lovely. They really show off the loco as well. It looks great. What amazes me, having seen Lion in real life now, is just how small she is. She's tiny. I mean, you look at the models here. If we just flick over to the close-up camera briefly, she's so much smaller than the 1400. Look, she's Diddy. I mean, the 1400 is almost as long as she is with her tender. She's a tiny loco. Horse running away there. I do love these few scenes of people just running down to wave. I think that's rather lovely. Top tier visual gag coming up. I mean, that's just... It's only a little moment, but it's... I told you, genuinely funny film. Chickens. I think you're miles ahead of us, the tired Scot. What's the smallest locomotive I've ever witnessed? That one. I think the smallest full-size one is a Diddy little 040 shunter at the Great Central. Here we are. Lovely shot of Thunderbolt. And here comes a castle. It took them about 3 attempts to get that shot, apparently. Which one is that? That's the manor, I think. This is Bristol Temple Meads. It's not a very long branch line, that, is it? 29 minutes. Hold on a minute. I can probably work this out, actually. 25 miles per hour. 29 minutes. That's going to be... There we go. The inspector's delivering his verdict. I can't work it out. It's a few miles. About 12 miles. Although with a stop in the middle as well, which was about, what, 15 minutes? So 6 miles. Here we are. Here's the steam locos whistling, which is a lovely ending, this. Oh. It's such a lovely ending, this. Ah. Oh. Final shot. Ah. That's the end. Ah. It is the best film. I love it so much. I will never tire of watching it. Should we watch it again? No, I'm kidding. I've got work in the morning. Oh, the soundtrack's banging too. I love it. Harold Alford, Ted Burbage and Frank Green, the British Railways staff. And that's it. It's all over. Ah, that was lovely. I'm going to pop my Bluetooth headphones off because wearing these with these hurts your ears. But yes, that was the Titfield Thunderbolt, and a beautiful film it is. I love it. The Tired Scot has seen it for the first time. I'm glad you like it. It's lovely. It's a beautiful film. It's just that lovely thing of a community coming together to do something just a bit mad, and I feel like I can relate to that on the basis of it's the two blokes are still going to jail. They never resolved that. Well, actually, someone wrote an unauthorized sequel called Thunderbolt's Last Run. Hold on, let me see if I can find out who wrote that. This was written by a chap called Thomas Young. It's basically an unauthorized sequel to the film. And it's about what happens after the fact. But basically, in the book, the villagers get a new locomotive, and they go through the trials and tribulations of running a railway. Now they've got the licence. I like to think the Titfield branch line becomes its own lovely little preserved railway and is still open today. And they poodle around, and it's never got very big or made them masses of money, and it's just carried on a bit like the Talithlin, and it's just lovely. That's my personal headcanon. Anyway, it's a lovely film, and it encapsulates the preservation movement beautifully. It's all squabbling and people having differences of opinion all the time, but ultimately bonding over a shared love of something, and that is it's pretty sort of marvellous, and I love it for that. I think it's the perfect feel-good film for me. It is the perfect movie. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it tells its short, lovely, sweet little story and then gets out. It ends on a perfect note. It ends on a high. No one's ever tried to remake it. No one's made a sequel, and that is a good thing because it's the perfect ending. If you tried to do anything with this, you'd ruin it, quite frankly. So it's a beautiful standalone story. It says what it's got to say, and then it just gracefully bows out, and that's rather lovely in an age where every film has to be part of a wider franchise. I think this is something we've lost, just these little films that just do their thing and get out. It's the perfect movie for me. And yes, it's got issues. There are various continuity problems, and oh boy, the health and safety implications. Jeez, I'm going to have to go through this film at some point and tot up how many yellow forms need to be written out. It's probably into the tens, so so many yellow forms, and at least 3 RAIB reportable incidents. Hang on, let me see. So there's the bit at the beginning where they RAIB reportable incidents. Well, there's the bit where they derail the road vehicle. There's the derailing of the steamroller. Sorry, where they crash into the road vehicle and then crash into the steamroller. That's 2 collisions, so that's an RAIB reportable incident. There's an uncontrolled evacuation of the train. That's RAIB reportable. There's another uncontrolled evacuation of the train where everyone jumps off and starts putting water in. That's RAIB reportable. The water tower itself failing is probably RAIB reportable. that's a near miss. The accident or the deliberate sabotage is an RAIB reportable incident. The train becoming divided is an RAIB reportable incident. So that's what, 7, 8 RAIB reportable incidents? Yeah, they should never have got their licence in reality. But don't overthink it. Don't overthink it, and you'll have a lovely time. It's a beautiful film. Right. That is all I've got to say this evening, really. So I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you very much for joining me, folks. If you haven't done so already, just a reminder that we are raising money this evening for the Cystic Fibrosis Trust in memory of my dearly departed friend Dick. I will pop the link back into the chat room if you want to go and donate in Dick's memory. That would be lovely. No obligation, but if you feel like you want to, go drop them a small donation. I would greatly appreciate it. We have raised £15 this evening from people donating in the chat room. Every penny of that will go. I know YouTube takes a small slice, but I will make up the difference, and that full amount will go to the Cystic Fibrosis Trust. So thank you very much to the Celestial Toy Maker and to Helen Velvet Sky for their generous donations. Thank you. Right, next week I'm not sure what I will be doing. It's Christmas week, so we'll have had Christmas, so maybe something Christmassy to do. Don't know, we'll see. Saturday is Ask a Dalek, the Dalek December special, with the entire cult of Scratchwood, which is quite exciting. So you can look forward to that. If you want to send in any videos or email questions or pictures or fan art or anything like that, email it all to askadalek@gmail.com, and I will make an effort to show as much of it on stream as I possibly can. But yes, that will be a fun little stream, so I look forward to that. That's at 8 PM on... Is it 8 PM? Hang on. I wrote this down. I've forgotten what time. Hold on. Yes, 8 PM. 8 PM this Saturday. So do tune in for that. And that's going to be a fun one. And tomorrow at 5:15 PM, celebrating the 60th anniversary of The Dead Planet, there is a special video coming out on the channel. I don't want to spoil it. It's a bit different, it's funny, and I hope you all enjoy it. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, everybody. I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I will see you on Saturday with all of the guys. Not all of them, just like the main ones. But anyway, take care, guys. And if I don't see you on Saturday, have a very happy Christmas. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye!